evening, everybody. My name is William Michael Forbes, and I want to welcome you to Twin Flames United in Service Part 2. And I have with me guest medium Michael Rolla, and I'm going to bring him on shortly, and hopefully the sound will be working better than it was the last time we were on. So let's see if I can find Michael here. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Hey, William. How are you? Good. Good to see
Terrific. Can you
you.
hear me okay?
Yep.
Wonderful.
Sounds good.
Well, welcome. I'm just welcoming everybody to this evening's Twin Flames, where we're going to be channeling Archangel Michael and his twin flame, Faith. And I got to tell you, I don't know if you, Michael, but I've been just like overheating, sweating, shaking. I did a brief meditation with Faith, who has a lot to say tonight about the meaning of her purpose and her role with Michael at this time of human ascension, which is going to be really exciting. And I'm looking forward to hearing what Archangel Michael has to say. Um, anyway, good to have you here, Michael. Tell us a bit about yourself.
I guess if I were to start, I always kind of had spiritual experiences my whole life, and always thought, it was paranormal and ghosts and all that, and got into it that way, and always loved ghost hunter shows and whatnot. And it just really evolved from there. When I got a little older, I got into martial arts, and I went to Tai Chi and energy and all that kind of stuff. And then through meditations and everything, and all the energy work, you really start to get subtle, feelings here and there. And then, well, basically that's how I got here and realized who I'm actually connecting with. And, anyone and everyone. It's amazing. So, and I want to help us all realize we can do it too, because I know if I did it, I know that anybody else can. So
Yeah, and that's really the truth too. I mean, it's a matter of just retraining our senses to perceive what our eyes don't normally hear, and our eyes don't normally see, and our ears don't normally hear. Just learning to change the perceptual mechanism, which we can do. Meditation is one of the tools that.
And then your vocabulary will follow, and that's a big part of it. And that's what I think a lot of people are learning to put together now. And that's definitely my part. I want to help because what's your higher self? Well, it's me. But why is it there? So there's a lot of little tweaks and misunderstandings when it's all connected. We're all doing it already. It's all part of our life every day. So it's kind of bringing it back home in a sense for me. So I really want to do that for all of us. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Talk a bit about what you mean by vocabulary. The vocabulary comes next.
So there's so many synonyms and there's so many antonyms in our language. Like I said, with the higher self, it starts off as sort of a sense where you have to notice that there's something else, but it's not really like a higher self of you. But again, it's higher in the sense of you're choosing better actions, you're choosing higher vibrational. And then when you get into vibration, there's a lot of that goes on, or that is talked about. And even saying that, well, what does that mean? Well, it's the literal vibration, so it's very practical. It's all makes complete sense. And so when I say the vocabulary, I just think with the different modalities and all the different kinds of ways of figuring it all out. But, we're all connected and we're all one. So there's a connection between it all. So vocabulary, that's a big one. And it's going to take all of us really just sharing and really trying to understand what we're saying, in regards to what, we're all really just here to learn and to learn together. So, yeah.
Exactly. Now, when I hear you say vocabulary, what you just described, I would describe as modalities, that we all have different modalities of being able to hear and see and feel and know what we're receiving that is beyond what we normally perceive. And that when we learn how to perceive and receive differently than what we've been conditioned to think we're supposed to, we can actually start to see a completely different world, experience different beings, acquire different knowledge and understanding and experience than what we normally would.
Very much so. Yes.
Now, I'm just want to make sure that we're gonna be channeling Archangel Michael and Faith very shortly. I just want to make certain. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to us live. We'll be taking your questions and answers. Archangel Michael and Faith will be addressing any concerns or questions you have about the concept of channeling, what twin flames are. We had some really great questions the last time when we were with Joe Field. It's amazing what information is available to us when we allow ourselves to open up to what is around us all the time. We just don't know it's there until we know it's there. So I guess we'll begin right now.
Sure.
Michael, if you want to bring in Archangel Michael, I'm going to actually call Faith. She's been just like really wrapped around me. She's like really wrapped around, like she's gotten in love with me. She's got her arms around me. She's like looking over my shoulder at everybody else and say, come on, let's do this. Let's bring this. And it's she's light, very light energy. They're
Yeah.
in non-physical form. It's very different. But let's see what they have to say.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can start with Michael. That's totally fine. That's how Faith feels to me too. She's so, it's like, it's the velvet, what is it? The metal in the velvet glove or what it, because she's Archangel Michael's counterpart. So she don't take no nothing from nobody, but it's like she has no need to even be that way. She's so gentle. But Michael, yeah, Michael's been with me. He's been with me for a long time throughout my whole life. So for me, it makes sense. I'm a Michael, very easy to connect to. It's almost trickier for anyone, who's learning. When you're this close to a particular being, it was a little more subtle, noticing him versus myself, because I feel like I have so much of that already, in me, and then having to really kind of separate my own, and then it's a little, so you might be closer to one, but it can work in all different kinds of ways, and he's been on me for a couple days now, and usually they don't like to tell me before I hop on, so I do like to kind of bring it as we go, because it depends where we're at, when we start, who's all here. But his main, he's always been about empowerment, and that's one of my favorite things about him. And all he keeps saying now is how important it is for all of us to really step it up. We want a world that has all these wonderful things, but in some cases we don't maybe try, or maybe we get upset, or maybe we blame, or we do things. So really bringing a lot of love back into this world is going to take all of our participation. And that's why, no matter if you think you don't affect the world, you do. And he's really all about self-reflection. He's been telling me a lot lately. He talked about look yourself in the mirror. He gave me 3 sort of challenges, for all of us to try and challenge us to do. And one of them was looking in the mirror and telling yourself you love yourself. There's a big ego wound in the male side, and it's apparent in the patriarchal world that we live in, because why is it so he's saying, it's evident, it's in the pudding. You can see that that males have a need to be worthy and a need to be useful, and I think that's important for all of us, and we should all, no matter male or female. But he's saying it gets a little distorted and perverse when we get upset and we go too dark, I guess. So he's really just he wants us all to be proud of who we are, know that we're here for a really important reason, and go gentle on yourself is really what he's summoning for me.
It's amazing. In spite of, like, he does, he's worked with me significantly too over my life, but he's not just about helping us to pull away negative energy from ourselves, but about empowering us to do that for ourselves as well, and really being able to do that. Faith has a similar modality, except she's more about getting people to trust in that process, to really trust in that process of moving from what you're comfortably uncomfortable with to what you're uncomfortably comfortable with.
Yes.
It's a fascinating process. It's like they fit into each other really, really well.
I got that too recently. I think it was yesterday. Faith kept saying that's why it's her name. There's a faith, but they're counterparts. So it's like you have to be strong and protective and secure, but with that faith. And so it's, yeah, they're an amazing pair. That's, I can say that. Yeah.
She keeps saying to me right now, she keeps saying it's important that you not let doubt be more real than your own soul. This is very important. Many
I
of you
like
are
that.
stuck in the illusion of your doubts and your fears and your uncertainties and making them more real than what you are. And there's nothing more real than you. There's nothing more real than you.
Yep. Right here, flesh and blood.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's crucial, and that's just part of the society. Archangel Michael. I asked him, about the empowerment because there's a bit of confusion that can be out there, and he said, because power, he stands for what he stands for, and he doesn't hurt a soul. It's not power in the male, perhaps, understood power over others and to force things into, and he really, when he was telling me this, he was kneeled down and he had his shield on one side and he didn't have a sword or anything, but he was just kneeled down in a very like bowing prayer type of thing. And it went on for a long time. And I was just like, why are you still down there? Like I get what you're saying. And he was just like, no, it's so important because of the honesty that needs to be built again within yourself, within that, and the power comes from that, and you're protected from that because and so he was just so very, it was such a humbling sort of moment with him, to have him just kneeling and just saying like, no, it's not about him kneeling, it's about why he's kneeling. There's a reason for it. It's not just so simple. But
Yes. Yes.
it
Very
was
true.
really, yeah. I don't know if you could feel that. Oh,
Oh no, I can feel, like I said, I can feel both of them and
I'm
many
sweating.
others. I mean, it's pretty intense. And the fascinating thing is that they're available to all of us. I mean, he says there's a
Yeah.
very different reality in terms of time and space that they experience versus what we experience in terms of seconds, minutes, hours, or being here or being there. They don't experience reality the same way. They can be in multiple places at the same time without being less of what they are anywhere.
Oof.
And that's the capability that we are. She says today it's important to remind people that's something they must learn to do. They must learn to realize they are not diminished by time or space. They are increased by their ability to separate themselves from what they think time and space is.
Mhm.
Move yourself out of this. Move yourself out of this through meditation. She said,
Yes.
really important. Move yourself out of this with meditation so that you can reach them and connect them. They can reach you better when you don't have all this stuff between them and yourself, because this is just stuff. It's not who you are. This identity that they laugh at me because sometimes I think I'm real. I think this William self is real, and when I do that, I actually feel like a diminishing in my connection when I believe that this meat sack is more real than who I am, which is this unbound energy consciousness that is unified with the angels, the divas, the multidimensional beings from other dimensional planets. We are not restricted. He says it's important to let that go, be in the moment, and know that we're with you all the time, in love and in grace. What else would we offer you? But love and grace. And when I feel that from them, when you really allow yourself to feel that vibration from them, it is very humbling. It is in a good way, in not in the way like, oh, the humbled or the meek.
Yeah.
I'm trying to describe. They're trying to
In an
describe. Yeah.
empowering way. It's
Yes.
empoweringly
Yes.
humbling. Okay, wait. Yeah, I'm gonna say it wrong too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because when you've got a feeling that's different than what your body knows, and you try to communicate it, I go through a process of, and
Yeah.
everybody that learns this goes through a process of being able to translate this new thing into a language that makes it understandable to three-dimensional perception.
Yes.
And fascinatingly enough, they've given us the tools and the techniques and the process to do that. But one of the things we're going to do is we're going to take questions and answers
Cool.
from the watchers. It looks like we got lots of information coming up on the screen now. So I'm
Yes,
going
please.
to. Could you see any of the questions and answers where you are, Michael?
No,
Okay,
I'm
so
on.
I'll read them to you. Let's see, where's my mouse? There it is. Oh, hello, Tatiana. Okay, so we got so Tanya saying, I thought we only have one twin and not many. I would like to know more if my twin is in human form today, the twin that stays with you forever, not just love, but to work together. I'm not sure if I met him.
So what I'm getting is I'm getting a little bit of both. I'm getting a little bit of form and not form, but that's because it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg. So he's telling me, that it's not as if the twin flames happened after or were needed in the beginning. It more happened because of an effect of wanting to individualize and separate, but groups of consciousness sort of stuck together. And this is sort of like soul family, soul tribe, you can call it that. So it's interesting because is there the one? Well, if you go really, really high up there and then you get to the primal source of just like one ray of Archangel Michael ray, then yeah, there's really not going to be many other parts. But as far as the level of for us with our humans and have you met this person, he just keeps saying this person because you know the energy that this person is and what you're attracted to and connected to. So your twin flame, we can find them anywhere, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in a romantic partner or something. You could find a twin flame in a turtle that was walking across this, not even one you bought as a pet, but one that just went across the street, and you say, look at how he just went across the street. That's exactly how I would have gone across the street too. And that's because it's a flame, and the flame is within you and in all of us, and it's the twin of the flame. So it's not the twin of the boyfriend necessarily, if that, yeah, what I wanted to say. So it was a weird yes or no on that one. That was a fun question. Thank you.
Yeah. Faith is saying there are several levels to the question you've presented to us, and we will address both in the order that you presented them. Firstly, from the perspective of your non-physical self, there is no point of separation in consciousness, although you still maintain a level of individuality. While you're in this physical realm, you cultivate a specific quality of consciousness or vibration that's unique to the physical form in which you inhabit. That physical form resonates a signal out that will attract into your experience that individual that matches most that frequency. There may be different degrees of individuals that can match that frequency, but it is up to your discernment to identify which one has the greatest level of compatibility to match the qualities and characteristics that you've cultivated here, the purpose and drive you wish to express here. And as my brother has said here, you may also look at the reality that there are other life forms that can be this joining as well. You may find that in a dog or a tree or even a piece of food that you eat that you find quite delightful. So do not limit yourself to just the two levels. Understand it all from a complete place of wholeness, and you'll have a different understanding of what is appropriate from the non-physical level. At the same time, have a methodology for identifying on the physical level what is in harmony with who you are and what you wish to experience and what you wish to do and serve in this dimension.
Perfect. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I hope that makes it's for yeah. Understand as you. How long have you been channeling for, Michael?
I'd say professionally a year or something like that now, so not very long. But recognizing that you always have, we all are, in our own little ways. So yeah, it can go back, but yeah, consciously knowing probably a good year now or so.
She just wants to add one thing to this. Like she's telling me, Tanya, she's telling me to tell you to be very mindful that you don't let your heart get in the way of reasonable analysis in discerning what is right for you and what is not right for you. So I don't know why but she wanted to make sure you got that piece of information as well. But in that process of learning to channel, Michael,
Yeah.
did you not find also that like what did you go through getting from 3D to feeling? What was your experience in that?
Yeah. I went through mental was my biggest blockage. So for me, it was a lot of back and forth, a lot of talking to myself, dialogue, and the meditations and the practices helped me separate them in the sense where I could see what was running through my mind and playing through my programs and whatnot, and then I could compare it with a sense of what felt right. So it was it was kind of like it was that when I talk about vocabulary, there's a point when I went to the other side, and instead of is it all real, it becomes what it's all real. So it's hard to it's hard to say when that it happens, but it happens piece by piece because of all the little layers of things. Because you can say we're all, like for me, I would say well, the higher self. Oh, it's my higher self. Okay, well then why do I have to keep finding him or seeking him or what why isn't he her all the time then? But that's because of a false premise that my higher self is this perfect, person. It's just me, guys, but not that it is just that. So it's really, the whole process is really it's you connecting with yourself, and once you know who you are and what you can do, and it flips because like you mentioned, you see the world in a very different way, and you see how everyone is connected, and you just see so it's hard to necessarily pinpoint it because it's such a process. And
I'd like to stress, because what you just said as well, that everybody has an innate ability to tap into their divine team, their guides, their angels, archangels, the devas, the spirits that help the trees and the forest and Gaia. Everybody has an innate connection to all that is, and you can cultivate and open that connection up through practice and patience. As you said, meditation is one of the things you learn. Learning to get your mind out of the way, being grounded, drinking lots of water, staying hydrated.
That's the main thing that did it, is being able to know yourself well enough that now you can be like, oh my gosh, I got voices in my head.
Okay, we got a question from Lorraine. Why is Archangel Michael and Faith considered twin flames, yet the concept of twin flames doesn't really exist? Is the idea of twin flames made up by the human collective?
Exactly. I'm getting that, it's kind of top down. So it was already there. But us in our understanding, we got to use these vocabulary words so we can really put the stuff together so it makes sense, because we're not going to, and it's important to know, there's a lot of stuff out there where it's like, oh, it's just this way, trust us, but when you do it for yourself, and I still go through this with family, that are near to me every day. I had a question earlier, and my girlfriend was asking me stuff, and I just let her go through it, and she's doing so well, and it was just a point where she's just having her own experiences, but she's learning to separate that. So yeah, I'll stop there. But yeah, it's not okay. So twin flame. Sorry, that's not the question. Was it? I think that was it. Okay, go ahead if you go.
Lorraine, it's funny because Faith is just laughing her ass off right now and saying, all of it is made up, and that is the delight in being, because we collectively make this all up. The physical, the non-physical, it is a creation of our extended being from source consciousness, and the joy is in the creating. The joy is in the manufacturing of experiences. The joy is in the difference of experience. If it were all the same all the time, it would get very boring. So yes, there are all aspects that are true and untrue, and they are all experienced for one person as that which is real, and for another not real. It is important to understand that it is all made up in the divine game of play, and you are here to play. You're not here to be bored.
It's so sweet.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. I had a visit from Zadkiel once, and that's exactly what he said too. It's all here for our enjoyment, so long as we wish to play with it, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
Um, um, I got another question from Moonlight. Will
Mhm.
I meet someone significant in this lifetime? I immediately got yes.
Yeah,
Just
me
you
too.
already have met them. You have already met them.
Already have? Yeah, that's what
Yep.
it felt like with me. It was a past. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Um, and it's going to be up to you to maintain, that connection. So when you see it or when you notice it and follow it. Don't lose it and think, they're going to come still yet, because they could be right there. And then even then you got to uncover, we're multi-layered beings, people. So even then you meet the most amazing people in the world, but you don't see it yet.
Yeah.
So there's always layers.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
fascinating too, because once you realize that we are all creating this,
Yeah.
and that the quality of my creation, the way I vibrate, what I resonate with, is determining what my experience is. They
Yeah.
tell me all the time, quiet your mind and calm down. Like before this, I'm going like, oh, this has to be done. This got to learn all this. Got to do all this, and they're just laughing. They roll back on their asses and they literally laugh at me, and they say,
Yeah.
"You of all beings know that this is not is a waste of time to be concerned about anything other than exploring and expressing and experiencing joy. What else
Yeah.
is there?" But you might choose to suffer or be in a worry to remember the contrasting states, so you realize you always had a choice all along about what you'd be experiencing. So understand the vibration you're feeling is giving you the very experience you have. So if you've not met this significant other, remember, change that which you feel, and you'll change that which you experience in this world that you call your life, which is really just a small, small, small fragment of what you are. Really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Rachel is asking, I feel that Michael is a guide in my husband's life. He is the law enforcement field. Can you ask Michael if this is the case? And if so, what guidance does he have for Dan? Wow.
Mm. Um, okay, yeah, definitely getting a yes. He's been with him on many occasions. Um, what would you like to see if he wants to? He enjoys protecting him. He enjoys being around him. He says there's a lot of fun energy, very genuine, helpful, wants to help people. And there have been, I got one at least where I can see a scene where he did have to protect him, but not from any, I want to say, immediate type of thing. It's an ongoing. He's always there. He loves hanging out with them. He loves what he does for people. And yeah, he's definitely had to, and a couple of times, just make sure things go smooth. He's just like, smooth. Okay, cool.
And what he's saying to me is, Dan needs to have a release of tears. I don't know what that will mean to Dan, but that's what Michael just said. Tell him he needs to have a release of tears. I have no idea what what's that relevant to.
Okay.
Um, uh, it's not that far behind him. It is not that far behind him, but he knows where he gained the tears. Now he must release them. So I don't know what that means, but again, let us
Mm,
know what that means to Dan. We love the feedback. Cool.
yeah.
Thank you for that question, Rachel. And all these questions are great. Uh,
Yeah.
Deirdre is asking, can they help us to clear the doubt so we can succeed in channeling?
Oh yes. I'm a walking, talking example of that. Um, Now, after practicing for as long as I have, it happens instantly. If I have a negative thought and I'm walking around, I can literally feel it, the ickiness that comes from my body, and it'll get stopped in like a stasis, almost like, and it just turns into like this sweet nectar, and where it gives a warmth and it just goes through my whole body. So you can ask them at any time to do that for you And the only time I've had a but on that was when they want you to learn for yourself. So they'll never do that if anything is a dire situation. So they're saying, yeah, they'll always be there. You can always ask them.
Yes.
And they're always trying to help. They really are in every aspect of your life, that we're not always aware of.
Oh yeah.
They are
Yeah.
always there to help. Yeah, because they don't want it for us any more than we want it. That's our free will. So they're here to maintain the non-interference, which is kind of so. Yeah, they'll never do too
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
What they're saying to me right now is that in the beginning, many of you will need our aid. As you gain in experience and knowledge of who you are, that will be less necessary. But please call on us at any time. You can feel us with you now if you choose to. We're always there. Um, I'm also, Babaji came to me about 7 hours ago, and he said, people in stress can start off at a very simple place. And he said to me, he said, people don't realize the power of their breath, that the simple act of their breathing mindfully. And when I asked Babaji what he meant by mindfully, what he told me was that means you are present with your breath coming in, holding and releasing, and becoming aware of that process of how you can pull energy in and you can release energy out, and feeling that natural dynamic. He said when you do that, it also begins to affect the same process in your mind, where you can learn to literally breathe a different form of thought, like love and joy into your mind, and exhale out the doubt and the fear. And
Yeah.
that's what he'll be. That'll be on the morning message, the actual session with him I had today.
That's just like when I transmute the feeling.
Yeah,
It's the in, it's the out. You
yeah,
feel it go through your whole body. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's amazing. So I hope that answers your question, Deirdre.
Yeah, breathing is so crucial because it's what we do every day. If we don't do it, we're all kaput, and we do it without even noticing we do it. It's the one thing we literally do constantly all the time. And so when you're consciously in control of it, you can make your body do things you've never even
Yeah,
realized
yeah.
because we're all just really breathing off
Like the
of.
shirt says, you got to awaken your consciousness,
Yeah, it is.
right? You got to
That's right.
awaken your consciousness.
That's what
Um,
we're doing.
and that's what we're all doing. A shapeshifter's asking, Michael, I have been very curious about why I feel my spine and back heated and hot. It has been going on for a year now.
Hmm.
Michael's saying to me, and Faith is beside him, and she's saying, it's Master Jesus is trying to work with you. Do not stay caught on the symptoms. Allow yourself to feel his love, which is there to inspire you. Allow yourself
Yeah,
to feel his love, which is there to inspire you.
that's what I got.
Cool.
Was it's trying to come, and it's not that something is wrong. It's that it wants, and when you embrace it, yeah, it's just like I said, it's gonna just warmth all over your whole body, and you're gonna say, why was I holding on to it for so long? Because yeah, I've had those too. Lower back, and it's weird. Ever since I meditate and I work with my guides, I don't have lower back, issues. I don't get pain, like
Isn't that
nothing
amazing?
like I used to. Nothing. And I haven't really changed a whole lot. I mean, I do eat healthier now, things like this, higher vibration, but I can think of just doing a meditation, lower back, and then going into it and it just dissolving. So you can really go into that feeling that you have and without judging it, just see how it feels. Hang out with it. Say, you're not killing me. I mean, it might be unpleasant, but what is it, that's really trying to happen? And a lot of times, yeah, when we have the block, whether it's in the mind or anything,
Body.
it'll stay blocked in the body. And so, yeah, it's all connected, right? And that's the big, like we were saying earlier, you see it from a different, perspective, vocabulary. All of these things are, it's all part of it. So yeah, don't
I, I,
don't localize your pain. Yeah.
that's right. I want to add to that. In the process of becoming awakened and aware of who you truly are, you're going to start experiencing symptoms where your guides and angels, as you start to change your frequency, or if you have the intention to reach higher states of consciousness, you'll start to get symptoms. You'll feel guides because they'll try and come get your attention in the way that they can, in the way that you allow. Some people will get headaches. and think they've got a problem. And it might be their guide or their archangel or a master trying to get through to them. You get through to their head, right? Or you get, they're called ascension symptoms, right? And you can get lots of them, pains in the back. With Master Jesus, I like heat up like an oven. When he comes in, I literally heat up like an oven and I start sweating. And then I have to drink tons of water, because that's another thing. You have to drink lots of water when you start connecting with your team, because your vibration goes up. When your vibration goes up, your body uses energy very differently. We teach all this in our courses and classes so that you safely navigate yourself from being just a day-to-day person to being able to talk to your own divine team, because they're around you all the time. There's a proper way to do that. Learning how to ground, learning how to meditate, practical things that everyone needs to do. But please explore that go into that vibration and feel Master Jesus' energy trying to get through to you. Like, allow yourself to let it be integrated rather than keeping it localized, because there's a part of your subconscious mind that will resist the changes, right? Yeah. Unconsciously will resist something that's new or different. And you want to learn to get past that. But Master Jesus is working with you. Allow him to come in and allow whatever he has to communicate to you to work with you.
Cool.
Really.
Yep.
Great question. Sunny Soul, will I be successful in my studies? It's hard to study.
Cool.
Michael's saying to me right now, he's saying, you have to get rid of the idea that it's hard and get into the idea that it is joyous. What was your original premise in choosing this line of study? Was it to be unhappy? Or was it to be filled with excitement and joy? Remember the joy when you approach your studies, and you will find that you'll be very successful in them and way beyond that. Always remember your starting point. Your starting point was not to be unhappy. Your starting point was to increase your love, your joy, your happiness, your creative expression. And these are things that you have access to when you remember that premise. So do not get caught in the symptoms of limitation that your old self would seek to impose on your new self.
Yes. And he's saying use the tools that you have available. And when you do, like William just said, that's what they become. Everything just becomes a tool for you to live the life that you want to live, whether you think that you want to go to school or not. It's whatever's going to get you to where you want to go. So as long as you know what that place is and you hold that love, and where you're going, then, we're all here, have to do things. What is enlightenment saying? Before enlightenment, chop wood, gather water. After enlightenment, chop wood, gather water. You still got to eat. We still got to drink. We still need fire. So, or, some warmth. So yeah, sure. There isn't an end place, like they say. So, yeah.
It's all good, brother.
Cool. Yeah, do it. Yeah. Follow your bliss.
Faith is saying be gentle too. Do not be hard on yourself. That increases the difficulty in your studies. Be gentle on yourself when you're studying. Joyful and gentle work very well together, especially if you're spending a lot of time in those libraries.
Yeah, they're saying change, like you said, don't say, studying stinks. Say, this is so much joy because it's going to take me where I want to go. And then in the process of doing it, you can let go of any hang-ups while you're doing it, because you know why you're doing it.
Yeah. Bo Miller is saying, did I meet my twin flame? And it's that question comes up a lot, especially during this series. And they're saying what's really important to understand is your twin flame is wholly dependent on the quality of your vibration. If your vibration is low, you're likely to resonate with a twin flame that is at a lower vibrational plane. But as you learn to alter and change the quality of your consciousness, the dynamic change in the life and the beings that will come into your world will change accordingly. So be open and willing to alter your vibrational consciousness. And there's many ways you can do this, right? Like drinking water. People, people do not give attention just how important water is. You see me drinking a lot of water during these lives, because I know when I'm working with these energies, these beings, your brain has to process different frequencies than sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell and hearing. And so it uses more energy. It needs more water to conduct the energy through the system. Simple thing, even the type of food we eat, if you're not eating proper food, you're not going to be conducting proper energy through your system to tap into divine team. Caffeine, alcohol, these things will disconnect you and lower your vibration. You don't want to do that. You want to really keep your vibration high. Like, they're all around us all the time. Like, Yeah. Well, you know Michael too, right?
It's subtlety. It really it's beyond subtlety. I mean, it's subtle. There's subtle in the way we know it, and then there's subtle in the way that we're learning again. But no, I wanted to say to your point about the twin flames, because it works for them too. When there's a lot of the twin flames, and people want to know relationships and and whatnot, but it works that way too. When you take care of yourself, you align yourself for your proper twin flame. But it's their responsibility to do that too. Now, if they don't do that, then you're not going to meet them, because now you're all aligned, but then they're not doing what they need to do. So, but it's connected. So as long as you're doing it, they will probably catch wind, and maybe you can hold the space, unconsciously, whether they know it or not. But, it's in the end, all you can do is you in that sense. So totally. Don't worry about if they're going to be there at the store tomorrow, or whatever. Just keep doing you, and they're going to find you, being your happy self. So, yeah.
Tanya says, wow, thanks for that info. Jeanette is asking, do twin flames twin flames who have incarnated on Earth at this time share a similar soul mission? Yes.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
What? Okay. So Michael's saying that's why we're all here. All 8 billion, however many billion of us, whether we know it or not, are on this level of conscious realm, universe, plane, whatever you want to call it, and we're all here for a similar reason. So yes, while it might be unique to the individual, you might have to, take care of your family or whatever, but in the end, it's all the same. And that's probably what you're connecting with and asking the question, is noticing how we all eat, sleep, we all breathe the same, we all bleed the same. Oh, sorry. I totally just took out my thing. And so I mean that's pretty much it. So,
it's perfect. Tanya says, yes, everyone has the capability to tap in with their team. I'm trying to learn this so I can talk to my guardian, Melissa, and provide ongoing guidance. Well, I'd like to address that, Tanya. Michael's one of the mediums in our mediumship course, which is beginning next February 1st. And these courses train you in a step-by-step process on how to raise your vibration, how to keep it raised up, how to connect to and recognize your angels, the ascended masters, and the dimensional beings that are around you. Even the beings from other planets in the galactic system are available to all of us. There's like an uncountable number of beings in existence for us to tap into. But you have to have a process and a system that allows you to tune into them, just like you have to learn how to drive a car. It's important. How do you learn to hear without ears? How do you learn to hear these non-physical communications? How do you learn to open up clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience? There's an actual process that leads you step by step that we've developed. And if you apply them, you will know how to do this. You will understand and you will experience what is always available to you anyway. But if you have the right process, you can learn to do that. If you want to know more about the courses and classes, you can go to my website. There'll be information in the description box below when I finish editing this video up on YouTube. But there is a system, and there are other schools out there too. Jamie Butler's got a program of her own. I think Kristen Davies has a program of her own. There are lots of programs popping up because this ascension process. There's over 1 billion people waking up right now on this planet to do the work that needs to be done to raise the vibrational frequency of love back to where it restores balance in this planet.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. But if you want to know more about that, Tanya, you can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and get all the information. I can give specific details at the end of this. And
I wanted to mention too to that is, that's Michael kept telling me the whole time. He said, they're not so different from us. When we're connecting, we make friends with them the same way you make friends with someone like on Earth, another human. It's friendship first, then relationship, and then partnership. I think we're going, if we were to pick the levels, and that explains the levels where you're saying, hi, I'd like to work with you. Okay, yeah, I would like to work with you. Now you have a relationship. And then it becomes a partnership after you start to be, intertwined, and you just start living together. That's almost like twin flame. You just become inseparable in your purpose, and so you are now twins in a sense. So yeah, that's one way to put it.
I love how you just described that, Michael, because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
They're people, or they're beings, but so are we. We're beings. Again, there's the vocabulary. See, we're beings. Right? So,
But
yeah.
are you just being a body, or are you just being your thoughts, or are you just being an expanded, unlimited soul?
Being a human being, or yeah, sure. There you go.
Wow. Tiffany's I'm in a relationship and having trouble with communication. I am feeling that it's because of blockages he has from childhood. Do you have any insight, please? Well, that's a great question, Tiffany. Whether or not that's asked to Michael or myself personally, to Archangel Michael or Faith, let's see what we got.
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead.
yeah. The first thing,
Yeah.
Michael's saying, go easy on the approach to this. You have already identified the truth of the source, but he himself must cultivate a willingness to explore and release himself from the attachment to his past, which is like weights on his feet, holding him back. And you feel like sometimes you have to drag him forward because of this. But be patient. He just needs to go into the emotion and release. If he wishes and is open, have him call upon me, Michael. I shall come and help him to release this.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's up to him. That's what Michael's telling me. And to go easy on yourself too, because there's only so much we can all do for each other in any given situation. And if you know how he's feeling, why he's feeling, that's your role to play now. So, if you try and explain it to him on his level, it might get a little confusing. So that's why holding the space, I think, which they talk about a lot, letting him figure it out in his own way. But when he sees you being happy, he's going to come around, even if it doesn't come out that way in the words. He's going to see that. So know that you're doing more without necessarily needing to feel like you need to do so much. But just stay in your love. It'll come around.
Now, Faith is saying it would be very beneficial if you reminded him gently in your speech. She's stressing the word gently in your speech, that you recognize that he's got an emotion that may be out of proportion to certain situations, and that if he wishes to be free of them, there is a simple process he can learn, such as breathing and relaxing and being in the present moment. Again, it depends on how open your partner is to these higher truths, but that is what I would recommend.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Thank you. I love that.
Yes,
I giggle a lot because this is, to them, this is like the simplest part. For us, it's very difficult. For them, this is simple. They giggle and they laugh at us like little children, just making little children mistakes.
I love it.
It's beautiful. I love it.
They're so funny. Yeah.
I'm Drusilla is saying, "Hey, William, any message for Fred? For Fred, any message for Fred?" He's got to be gentler in his heart. They're saying he has to become gentler in his heart.
Yeah, he's heavy. I feel heaviness.
Yeah.
And it's almost stuck. Like I don't see him moving a lot. Yeah, being a kid again, flower, free, blossom.
Yeah.
He's just got to wake up and smell the totally fresh air. And again, that's a mind thing to change, sort of. To yeah,
She's adding in that it might be beneficial for him to change some of his diet as well, is what they're saying.
yeah, fresh air, big breath of fresh, clean chi energy. That's all. That's going to be the best for him. So whatever way he would be most open to something, yeah, that's maybe just crack the window open for at first. But, you know,
Okay.
uh,
Uh, uh, Tanya wants to ask Archangel Michael. Tony, Tanya wants to ask you. Do you live? Uh, oh no, ask Archangel Michael. Does he live in my home? Because I ask him to always be there. I heard if you ask him, he will live there.
Yeah, yeah. I did that also. Way back, I heard that too once, and I've done that ever since. So yeah, I can say by my own personal validation, yes, he'll definitely be. But when he's in my home, he's always by. He's never in any other room, but on the out. He's always on the perimeter for some reason, unless I ask him to come in more specific rooms, which I do sometimes for clearing.
Yeah.
But no, he's always kind of just. Sometimes I don't even think he's there, but then I say, hey, and he's right by the door again. So literally, like right
Yeah.
by the door all the time. It's because he doesn't want to intrude and he doesn't want to. He just wants to make sure that everything's going, yeah, smooth, smooth. There
Yeah.
it is again, smooth.
Yeah. We had him
So,
very close in the beginning. We had him very close into our space. We had him around us because it was all new to us a few years
mhm.
ago. And now he just goes like, you know how to do this now. You know, like,
Yeah,
come on.
he just
I
he
got
checks in.
lots of other people I can put more energy towards. You're like I am now, which is fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. Once, but that's how fast it can be too, in the
Yeah.
sense where, like, if you ever really need or something, he can be there right away. So it's, as soon as you're like, come here and save my house, he's there. So even if he's technically not, I mean, it's not really here. Yeah, I'm trying not to confuse it.
Sorry if my eyes keep turning away. It's just I'm also looking at the questions on the screen here.
Same
So
here. I'm looking at you, and it's not by the camera, so I apologize if I'm.
yeah, well, they tell me all the time. They remind me put your eyes to camera so people can feel our light coming to them through this because they do.
Oh,
They literally
oh,
bring their light through us to you, and
I'll
then
do
to
that.
remind you that they are around you, right? So it'll come. Sometimes it has to start from the outside before you realize it's all on the inside.
Mhm. That's why
Um,
it's always the same answer. I think that becomes frustrating when you're seeking and the answers always go inside. That's always the
Rachel
truth.
says, "So amazing! Thank you, spot on." Uh,
Cool.
Someone says, "Thank you for all the work you're doing and guiding us." Thank you. Tanya says, "That is amazing, Rachel." Um, Deirdre, thank you. I ask every day, though. Yeah, it's important. Keep asking. You
Yeah.
know, Master Jesus constantly never stop asking. If you don't understand something, you need assistance. Always ask. But he also
Right.
stresses ask from a place of love, of hope, from a place of faith. Faith is laughing at me now. Says always ask from that place of where you want to receive your answer from. If you're asking from your fear, it's different than when you're asking about your fear. And it changes what you will receive and what you will not receive. And it's really important. They remind me of this stuff all the time. Um,
Yep.
Hi, Patricia. Hi, Deirdre. Um, Rachel's asking Michael, do negative beings exist as actual entities or are they manifestations of our own imaginations?
Oh, that's a good
Great
question.
question, eh?
Yeah. So that's funny because it's a little bit of both. Our manifestations in our minds, they do create. But if what you're asking is there are big bad people out there, I say the reference to, is it the gun that is bad or is it the person behind it? So um, all energy is physical and non-physical. So Yes to that question. They're physical, but then they're also non-physical too. So it really kind of depends, because then of course there are pretty physically negative people. So yeah, so it's kind of both to that one. And um, I forget what was the second part?
I want to say to that
Go
all the
ahead. Yeah.
answers to the questions that everybody's asking are available to you from them too. They'll give you, as they are right now. You're getting answers from them right now. But you can
Yeah.
also directly build that relationship with them, as Michael mentioned earlier. When you learn to sense their presence around you, like we have a whole section in the course on just sensing the presence, their energy, of actually calling them in, bringing them into your presence, and feeling them with you, and then learning to identify them. And you literally build a relationship step by step, like little kids in the sandbox. The first time go, "Hi, my name is Johnny. Oh, my name is Paul." Right? And then from there, a friendship eventually grows. It's the same thing.
And that's how they always describe that they know each other. They don't use names. Well, that's why, is because they sense each other. So right away, I know, okay, boom, that's Archangel Michael. Why? Because he's always that same guy. He's always the protector, the empower, and then you learn to differentiate and you stretch out in little ways, I think, and that helps you pinpoint things. So yeah, it's a lot. We're all doing it, like you said, William. It's right here in front of us. We just
Yeah.
gotta get those skills developed again.
Now there are a lot more questions, Michael, and we're not going to get to them all. Obviously, we're
Okay.
trying to keep this an hour, but I want to go over a couple of things. One of the things
Sure.
is we still have 6 more installments of the Twin Flames. I'm going to put this up on the screen there, so you can see beside us. Those are the dates
Yeah.
of the next one. The one on the top, of course, Faith and Michael was this evening, and we got Holy Amethyst and Archangel Zadkiel on Wednesday uh, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard
Yep.
Time. Well, it's actually 11:55 Eastern Standard Time. The reason it was moved to 11:55 is at 12 noon every day I do the 1 billion strong meditation, and so we're gonna include that in add 5 minutes. But these are the dates for the remaining Twin Flames. There are 2 that are not listed there that will be listed a little bit later on in the series. I also want to talk about our courses and classes, which I've mentioned a number of times tonight. Michael's one of the medium assistant, medium facilitators in our Group 2 course of the Mediumship program, Mediumship 101 course for beginners, for the people that want to learn. And I highly recommend, for those of you that are seeking to connect your divine team, to really know more about them, please go check out all the information on my website. I'll put all the information down in the description box as well after I've edited the video on YouTube. But go to williammichaelforbes.com. You can get all the course information, all the details. You can register there. It's a 3-week program that, if you decide by the second week that you want to continue up the program, because we have a total of 3 levels, and you decide you want to continue to level 2, you'll get an additional 3 weeks of practice training in the group setting before you go into the level 2 program. One of the things they told us we needed to do was to ensure that everybody got practical, significant experience in learning their skill, their craft, opening their consciousness up. And I invite you to go check the information out, read it over. If you've got any questions or concerns, you can email me at William Michael Forbes. Take all your questions and answers there. The course starts Saturday, February the 1st, and runs till Friday, February the 22nd. And I got to tell you, this course has changed so many lives since we started them. This is the anniversary, by the way. This is the anniversary of when we started these courses, and the impact some of our students are having on other people. Michael, Lorraine O'Connell, Elena, so many beings that we have working with us in these courses that have affected us. It's just this massive growth that's happening on the planet. There's a billion people that need to know what's going on. Why am I feeling this way? This ascension process is becoming universal in the human collective unconsciousness. And now it's coming out into the consciousness. We're seeing symptoms of it. People having intense emotional problems in their life. The medical system can't handle anymore. And it's not because there's something wrong with these people. It's because there's an ascension process, something inside all of us, awakening, knowing it's greater than what we've been conditioned to think we're supposed to be. And our goal is to work with our divine teams and bring you the opportunity to awaken yourself to your greater potential. It's not just a course about mediumship and channeling. It's also a course to really give yourself a complete makeover in who you think you are.
Yeah.
right?
Yep. That's why I loved it. I totally agree. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, you went through it too, Mike?
What was that?
You went through the program too, right? And like here
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are, you're
Yeah.
facilitating.
Twice. I think twice. Yeah. And that's why, I wanted to be a part of it because it really was, I remember when my first video live, I think I was doing some card readings and I fell off the couch and I was just like, oh my God, I would have never in a million years saw myself, doing this. I was spiritual when I was a Lutheran when I grew up. So I started in church choir and then I started questioning things and I sort of did this whole full circle and then I got into meditation and then I'm back here. So I mean, it's been the wildest journey for me. But through all of it, within such a short amount of time, all of it's just really ramped up with the courses. So yeah, they're awesome courses. And when you work with them, why wouldn't they be? So it's really amazing. It's been awesome for me. And I can't thank you enough, William. So
It's an honor and a privilege, like I said.
yeah, I love doing this.
Yeah, and with everybody that we get to connect with, and I mean, there's just such a synergy that happens when you got multiple dimensional beings working through multiple physical beings. It's like mind blowing what happens in the group synergy. It's just incredible. I invite everybody to check it out. Consider registering for the course. If you again, you can email me if you got any questions or concerns. I'll put my email address in the description box as well after the video is edited. I want to thank everybody so much. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all your questions tonight, but as you can see, we'll be back on Wednesday to bring forth another group of Twin Flames, and it's going to be really, really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And Michael, thank you so much for your time and your energy for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, William.
You're welcome. Take care, Michael.
No problem. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Again, I'll leave this up if you want to get the dates. If you haven't gotten them already, there they are. I'll leave them up for about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to close this live stream down. Thank you so much for coming by, and thank you for all your wonderful questions. Much love to all of you.